Okay, so now that we've got our affinity diagrams done, we're going to look at what we can do with these groups of information, these clumps of information. Well, first, we know we've seen some trends in certain areas, and maybe some of our ideas or hypotheses were either proven or disproven. One of the ways you can use this data as it's been organized in a useful way is to create what's called a protopersona. It's a very basic starting point in getting to know your user. It can describe system allowed roles available to users. It is definitely hypothetical and is not something that you should rely on as a finished product in terms of getting to know your users. This is just the beginning. It's created generally or a lot of times it can be created using a stakeholder's intuition or anecdotal evidence, such as observations. This is what they look like typically. Their main areas, we've got who the user basically is, what their main demographics are, what kind of behaviors we noticed in our observations, and what their needs and goals appear to be, generally as related to the product and service. These are all things that were in your note-taking guide for the ethnography, if you remember. So these are all bits and pieces that you will have observed. So we're just going to jump right in again to another activity. All right. I want you to take out some poster paper and some Sharpies and your findings, or, refer back to your affinity diagrams up on the wall there. And you're going to just work in your groups and fill in these main areas. You want to draw a little picture of your user maybe, and, just write in what appropriate tidbits of information that you got for each of these other areas. Things like, you want to humanize the proto-persona by giving them a name, an age, and like maybe a little doodah sketched picture. And then you want to depict their behavior. What are they doing in relation to the product or service? How are they accessing it? When are they using it? How often? Things like that but only include what you've actually observed. So that's why it's going to be helpful that you grouped your findings as a team into different categories. Next, demographics. So what you want to do here is look at the most commonly appearing age, gender, and basic economic status kind of looking findings from the characteristics in your users that you observed during your ethnography, okay? And then their needs and goals. So in relation to the business, what are they doing when they come there? That is okay. It's okay for you to assume that what they accomplish while there is part of what their goal is. It doesn't matter that you can't be sure, because we're going to find out for sure if we're accurate in assuming that when we do interviews. But it's a good starting point. It gives you a basis on what to ask about when you do start interacting with users, okay? So get that done, and then we're going to review a couple of your proto-personas, okay? Don't spend too much time on it. You guys got about 15 minutes. Jot some stuff down. Let's see it happen.